In the last part, we came across HTML elements. We saw the difference between HTML tags and elements. Now that we already have an idea about elements, let's discuss what attributes are. Let me write the basic syntax of an HTML element over here first. So what we'll do is we'll write over here. Let's use the paragraph tag. So we are writing over here. This is a basic example of elements in HTML. Fine. I hope you guys must have got an idea about what this is. This is actually a basic HTML element. We have nothing else over here, just a simple example of HTML element. An element consists of a start tag, an ending tag, and the content within the tag. Right, so this particular thing is an element. Now, attributes in HTML refer to the additional properties or characteristics of an element. For example, if we write here, let's suppose we are writing over here. Let's say we are writing over here ID as para1. Fine. Now save this program and you can see over here that we have a paragraph which says this is a basic example of elements in HTML. Now we have this whole element with ID as para1, or we can give any ID of our choice. Now this ID is unique for this particular element. For now, you don't have to worry much about this ID or any other attribute. Just focus on what attributes are. We are going through the working of attributes basically. So we can use the ID of this attribute to style this particular element. So basically this ID attribute defines what this HTML element is. We have to use the style tag element, or we can say we have to use the style element for styling this particular paragraph. You will understand it once we go through the tag. So let's do it over here. What we'll do is we'll use the style tag over here. So we'll write here style. You can see this is a style element basically. It has start tag, it has ending tag. Now we'll write some content inside this particular tag. So let's say we are writing over here hash para1. Now inside this what we'll do is we'll define some styling properties. So let's say we are writing over here background color as red, and we'll write here color. So this color here refers to the font color basically. So we'll write here blue. Now save this program and you can see the paragraph in our browser is changed. So what we did here is inside this style element, we access this particular ID. So ID is unique for each element. We'll discuss it later on. So basically this particular paragraph tag has an ID named para1. So we are using that particular ID. Then we have some CSS properties. So these properties are used to style a particular element. So we have used it over here. You can see it over here. If I zoom out a bit in the browser, you can see the background color of this whole paragraph is red and the font color is blue. Fine. What we want to say here is this ID over here is basically an attribute. It is used to identify or change a particular element. We have many attributes present in HTML. So we'll go through some of them. Let's say we are adding an image over here. So let's add an image and you guys will understand about HTML attributes here as well. So we'll write here img. So this is basically an empty element. We have discussed it in the previous part wherein we went through HTML elements. Now what we'll do is we'll write here src. Now src is also an attribute. This attribute is used to provide the system with the source of a image. So if we go back to this particular HTML folder, so here we have a HTML folder. You can see we have a folder here named as images, and we have an image present inside this particular folder, right? So what we have to do is we have to provide this path inside a HTML file. So what we are going to do here is we are going to get back to VS Code, and inside here we'll write images. So this is our folder name, and we have a file name html.png present inside that particular folder. So src is the attribute, and this particular thing is the value of our attribute, right? Now the next thing we are going to do here is we are going to write here alt. Now inside this alt, let's say we are writing HTML over here. Now this alt attribute is used when we add an image on. So basically what happens is when we add an image to a web browser, sometimes what happens is the image is not shown over the browser. So in that case, the alternate text will be shown. So if this particular image is not shown in the browser, then this particular text will be shown. So let's save this program. We'll open a web browser here side by side as well. You can see that this particular image is present over here in a web browser. The size of this image is quite large. We can change the size in two different ways. We can either use the ID attribute here as well and then use that particular attribute in the styling tag or CSS file to change the size of this image, or we can simply use the height and width attribute in the image tag over here. So that's the simple one. So what we are going to do is we are going to write here height. Height is an attribute. We have to define the height in pixels. So we have written over here 300 pixels. Save the program and you can see the height of this image is 300 pixels now. Same thing goes for width as well. If we write here width and if we define the width as 300 pixels as well, save the program and you can see now the height and width of this particular image is 300 pixels, right? So guys, this is all about the basics of attributes in HTML. I hope you guys understood this. We'll go through each attribute while working on those attributes in the upcoming videos. So don't worry about it if we haven't covered all the attributes over here. We'll go through them in the upcoming videos.